Hello and welcome to Rock Paper Shotgun. Now, I was recently invited to watch a new work in progress demo of Warframe's upcoming Empyrean update. Watching it, I basically felt like this little dude, gawping at the incredible Railjack action before me. The Railjack, of course, is the new ship being added to Warframe that serves as a new kind of co-op experience. It was unveiled at TennoCon in 2018 and better explained at TennoCon 2019, but as Warframe fans know, development moves fast at Digital Extremes, and in the last 5 months, Empyrean has undergone some big changes. From new character progression to altered co-op mechanics, there's a lot to power through. I've only got about 7 minutes of new footage to explain it all, so if you do see repeating images, it isn't a glitch in the Matrix. And thanks to Displate for sponsoring the channel. Displate make lovely metal posters, and there are some cool Warframe designs. We've collected our favourites in our store, and the link is in the description. They're actually made of pretty sturdy metal, so I imagine you could use a displate to fix a hole in your Railjack hull, which would be practical and stylish. Of course, if you'd rather support the channel by just giving the video a like and subscribe, that would also really make my day. Right, onwards. Perhaps the biggest change to Empyrean is that power management has been kicked out the airlock. Well, sort of. In the original Railjack pitch, you'd be shifting power between shields, engines and weapons on the fly, a bit like FTL. Losing that aspect sounds like a big deal, but the team say it was just too slow in playtests. By stripping out systems management, it refocuses the ship's well-being on the crew inside it. They are, after all, the people who have to pilot it, hop on the gun turrets on the side, slip down into the front artillery, fix the breaches in the hull, and fight off any boarding parties. I mean, just alone, this is plenty of plate spinning. A bigger addition that adds a more interesting wrinkle is the forge at the bottom of the ship, where a member of crew can craft more dome charges for the forward artillery, or munitions for the ordnance, or the vital flux energy that is used to power avionics, which are the ship skills that I'll explain in a second. Materials for forging have to be harvested in the mission, forcing some crew to take on the role of scavengers, leaving the ship in their arc wings, maybe using the old arc wing launcher to fire themselves as an actual bullet, and then collect resources for crafting. All resources are shared between crew, so you could have someone crafting in real time back on the ship. This process of supply and demand, of people keeping weapons fed with supplies from below the deck, actually reminds me a bit of Sea of Thieves. In fact, a lot of Empyrean does. Fixing holes, putting out fires, fighting boarding parties. I mean, Empyrean is basically Sea of Thieves without the accordions. Unless Octavia counts. I don't know. Has anyone programmed in any good sea shanties? The idea of different crew members serving different roles is also boosted with the introduction of a proper Railjack character progression system. They are called intrinsics, as they are skills that are intrinsic to your character. By investing points in 4 disciplines, tactical, piloting, gunnery and engineering, you earn skills or stat boosts specific to those classes. This isn't like Battlefield, where you commit to a role and then play it for the length of a life. You can invest a bit in all 4, or shove everything into one to master it quickly. Take Tactical for example. Investing here gives you access to this tactical menu, which lets you see the state of your crew, jumping between their perspectives to see how they're getting on, and using a radial dial to issue instructions to them. You could tell someone to man the gun turrets, or to start crafting flux energy. Any instruction you give will be relayed to them through Cephalon Psi, the ship's computer. But having a high tactical ability also lets you use the Arcwing cannon. At the highest level, you gain access to a teleport ability, letting you use the tactical menu to jump around your own ship, or, even better, teleport back from enemy ships. So when you put that bullet in the reactor and set off a ship meltdown, you can just warp to safety instead of searching for an exit. Invest points in the pilot intrinsics and you're able to pull off manoeuvres that common pilots can't, with engine boosts and dukes that let you dart left and right, steering the ship around obstacles. In the build we're shown, it also reduces collision damage, boosts ship speed and allows for a drift manoeuvre, which I don't think we saw in action, and it forces me to imagine it being like a outrun power slide. God, it looks so cool in my head. Likewise, investing in pilot skills also lets you steer inside the warp tunnel on your way to missions. I'm not sure what this actually adds, although it is suggested during our demo that dodging these white energy clusters could potentially add a health bonus or something along those lines. Sounds like a wait and see to me. Another feature we can't show is the high-level gunner intrinsic, which lets you jump into a gun turret and enter augmented reality for a 360-degree shooting range. The ship you're attached to literally vanishes from view, letting you track enemy fighters as you see them. It looks absolutely awesome, but you will have to take my word for it. We also didn't get to dig into engineer intrinsics, which hinge around fixing the ship and forging items. What I love about the idea of intrinsics is that it means you bring something to the table, even when you join a crew in someone else's ship. The owner of the Railjack gets to deck it out with their weapons of choice, but you can still change how that ship functions, whether at the pilot controls or a gunner chair, or just poking about in the tactical menu. Actually, one thing I didn't mention about that one, the tactical menu also lets you activate abilities tied to warframes in the party. Imagine selecting these powers, Excalibur's radial blind for example, and then being able to target it on the map to help out any crew fighting a boarding party or crew exploring a rival ship. With all 42 warframes bringing different abilities to the tactical menu, your crew makeup could radically alter what's available. What the broader intrinsic system also does is mean relatively new players can contribute. By joining crews and taking part in missions, they can develop intrinsics way before they'd be able to get the kind of advanced gear needed to take on high-level enemies in these missions. You might not be able to afford a Railjack of your own for some time, but intrinsic means you can still be valuable. And talking of leveling, to give an impression of the time invested, our guide suggested they expected to take weeks, if not months, before you started seeing people reach level 10 in individual intrinsics. But because intrinsic points are tied to affinity earned in missions, you could speed up the whole process with affinity boosters, but until we get our hands on it, it is hard to say how long it will really take to get to the tasty stuff. I mentioned there the time it takes for a new player to acquire a Railjack. If you've been playing recently, you'll know this happens through Rising Tides, a questline that sees you building Railjack parts in your dojo's dry dock. For newcomers, dojos are the social space for your clan, so this task is done as a collective, easing the high resource cost. Now people are just waiting to get the key to activate their new toy. I love that this vast space adventure is basically boiled down to losing your car keys. I'm going to quickly go through customization. At the top level you have the components that dictate the core stats of a Railjack. The shield array handles defense, the engine dictates speed, and the reactor decides your avionics capacity, which is the number of skills your ship can equip, and your flux capacity, which is the power it takes to activate some of those skills. This last option also shows us some dudes standing perilously close to this fast spinning thing, which is a workplace accident waiting to happen. Next up are your armaments, your front turrets, your side gun pods, and your missiles down here. Now, a quick note on upgrading these and all parts of your ship. While you will see ship parts dropped in mission, you will also be researching them with your clan. It comes up during our demo that this will be a good opportunity for Warframe to use materials that players have stockpiled over years of play, rather than solely focusing on new parts exclusive to Empyrean. Next up are the avionics, which are basically Railjack abilities. Battle avionics give you the tastiest weapons, like this vast void hole that sucks nearby matter into it. I forget to ask what happens to your Arcwing friends outside the ship when this bad boy goes off, but I imagine it's as painful as it is pretty. Then you have integrated avionics, which are passive buffs to ship stats. Finally, there are tactical avionics, which offer tactical advantages in battle, such as Void Cloak here, which is deployed from the tactical menu to hide your ship, letting you focus on fixing breaches without enemies making more at the same time. Also in the dry dock you can prepare payloads for upcoming missions. These are the items that can be forged in real time during the mission, but obviously preparing them in advance means you won't be scrabbling for ingredients during hectic space battles. Finally, there's cosmetic customization, giving your Railjack a goofy name, a garish colour scheme, adjusting the wear and tear, and applying decals, because who wouldn't want greedy milk emblazoned on the side of their beautiful creation? Also, someone asked if there'd be other hull designs, and while there will be different exterior skins, we're told that the physical interior design won't change for at least the first year. So you've got your Railjack, what next? Well, you start doing missions around Earth Proxima, where you can get to grips with your ship in a free flight area without the pressure of combat, or take on simpler extermination missions and work towards harder Earth nodes. On the subject of difficulty, you'll see level 60 enemies on the star chart, which suggests this is really content aimed at players with the best equipment in the game. It's noted that boarding enemy ships can be a real push for even experienced players, which suggests lower level players are better off contributing from the Railjack, which they can obviously do by hopping on high level gun turrets, letting them punch above their weight for a brief moment. Fighting through Earth, you'll work your way to Corm's Belt, which is where you'll have to take down a Grineer captain on a galleon. You'll remember that we saw a fight against a Kuva Lich on a galleon at TennoCon 2018. Don't expect to see Kuva Lich popping up in this first Empyrean release. They will eventually appear in Railjack missions, but not until the second or third content expansion. After Earth, you'll move to Saturn, where mission complexity increases. Interestingly, the way you progress is tied to your piloting intrinsic skills, so that to get to Saturn, you first need a crew member with a pilot skill of at least 3. As for mission types themselves, we're shown a simple extermination task full of dogfighting and hopping onto enemy ships to blow their reactors to smithereens. We also see a mission to take down a super weapon, which is this giant asteroid-mounted cannon, which has the player inside a base, exposing radiators on the exterior, which the Railjack then has to attack to destroy the base. Man, I wish I could show you this, because it looked great. Obviously, every mission is procedurally generated around points of interest that appear in the given area. We're also told about radar towers and asteroid bases, where you have to hunt and kill the local captain. Alas, we don't get to see anything in the Veil Proxima, which is where Empyrean's toughest challenges will live. It's also worth pointing out 2 things that won't be in Empyrean at launch, but will come eventually. Most important of these is AI crew members, which will be used for a more solo experience. At launch, the focus is very much on co-op and a level of challenge that will force co-op for all but the most advanced players. When crews do launch, you'll gain access to a new intrinsic discipline, Command, which will give you the skills tied to AI crew, which will be built from allies from syndicates such as Ostrom or Solaris United in the 2 open world expansions, or your converted Kuva Lich. You also won't see the Railjack bridging those open worlds, which is how the entire concept of the ship was first introduced to us when it arrived in Orb Valis at the end of TennoCon 2018. The goal is still to connect open worlds and the Railjacks, but it won't happen just yet. And that is everything I saw in our Empyrean demo. If you do have any other questions, do pop them in the comments, and I'll see if I have any answers. I'm incredibly excited to finally get to jump into Empyrean, and while I was a bit surprised to see some of the changes to the core ship management, I think the new intrinsic system really is going to do a lot to make a group of friends, or strangers, operate as a crew. And as is always the way with Warframe, this is but a first step, with plenty of evolution to come. If you found this video helpful, do give it a like and think about subscribing to Rock Paper Shotgun. If you really love this video, you can support the channel through our Displate store. Please do use the link to check out our personal picks. There's over 500,000 designs, and Displate's unique metal posters are built to last and use a magnet mounting system that doesn't involve drilling into your walls with power tools, which is always good. And not only will you be supporting the channel, but you'll be supporting the environment. For every Displate sold, a tree gets planted. Thanks to watching this Rock Paper Shotgun video. Maybe check out our video from TennoCon 2019, and while some of the info has now changed, there's loads in there about other upcoming Warframe developments with some great insight from the team. And hopefully we'll see you again in the future for more Warframe content. Bye for now.